The purpose of this video is to show you how to grade assignments in Google Classroom through your personal Gmail account. So when you want to grade assignments, go to your home page of your course and click on classwork, and the different assignments will come up. So you're going to click on an assignment, and if you click on it, you notice that it'll say what was turned in. You're going to highlight the word turned in and click on it. So now it's telling you that one student turned in the assignment. And if you look on the left-hand side, you can see which student turned in the assignment. You're going to click on the student and it'll show you the assignment they turned in. Keep in mind, you'll have a lot more students in your class. I only did one student as an example. So this student attached this Word document as the work for their assignment. So you would click on this Word document, open it up, read it, and then determine what score the student received. When we made this assignment, we made the points out of 100. However, if you've decided to change the points, you can come up here, click here, and then you can manually change the points and update it. So now this assignment is worth 50 points instead of 100. So if I was the teacher, I would click here, open the document, read it, and then I would decide what the grade is. The nice thing about a Word document or a Google Doc is that you can enter your critiques into the document. But if you don't want to do it that way, you can leave your feedback down here where it says add private comment. So this would be a way to send feedback to the student privately about this specific assignment. So if I read through this and I thought it was great, I would tell the student, great work. And you'll hit the paper airplane to submit it. So if I read through this and determined the student did a great job, I'm going to come over to where their name is, and I'm going to click next to their name. And where you see it blinking is where you'll add their grade. So I'm going to give the student a 45 out of 50 and hit enter. But if I decided the student deserved a different grade or the student resubmitted and wanted another grade, I can always edit this by just clicking back in that box and entering a new number. Once I've graded the student's work and I've left my feedback, all I need to do is return the work to them by hitting the return button. You can do this one student at a time, or you can grade them all and then release the grades. It'll be up to you. But again, we clicked on the assignment, we clicked on turned in, it brought us here, and now we've graded the assignment by clicking in this box. I'm going to hit return. It's going to ask me if I'm sure, the student will be notified, and I'm going to hit return. So I just graded our first assignment. In order to go back to all of the assignments, you can just click on the name of the class. Anytime you want to go home, click on the name of the class. I'm going to click back on classwork, and then I'm going to go grade the next assignment. So I'm going to grade the discussion. Same way, I'm going to go over the turned in word right here until it highlights. I'm going to click on it. It's showing me one student turned in the work. I'm going to click on the student. I'm going to read their response, and if I think it's okay, I'm going to grade it. Because this was our discussion forum, you can reply to the student on the forum by hitting reply, and you can say, me too, or whatever you'd like to comment about their discussion post. So once I do that, I'm going to hit that paper airplane, and I'm going to give the student their points. They got 100 out of 100, hit enter, and I'm going to return the assignment. I'm going to hit return. I have now graded the discussion post. I'm going to go back to my home page by clicking on the name of my class, and then I'm going to go back to classwork to grade something else. There might be another way to do this. This I've found is just the easiest way for me to navigate Google Classroom, but if you know any other way, please let me know. The last thing I'm going to grade is the quiz. So bear with me, this is actually going to be a little different than the other two assignments we graded. So I'm going to hit turned in. And now, if you'll notice, when I click on the student's name, nothing comes up. So if you're using Google Classroom through your personal account, grading quizzes is a little more difficult, I've found, than if you're using it through a G Suite for Education account, but it's still possible. So what you actually need to do is click on All Students, and you're gonna click and make sure you see who turned it in. So at least you know that these students down here turned it in. Once you've verified that, you're actually gonna go into Google Drive. So I know that sounds a little scary jumping into another application, but I promise it's worth it, and it's pretty much the only way to grade if you're using your personal account. So right now we're in Google Classroom grading that quiz. We're gonna come over to this grid looking square that says Google Apps. We're gonna click on it and we're gonna go down to Google Drive. It looks like a recycling symbol. Click on Google Drive. Google Drive is gonna bring up all of your different quizzes and things you've done. I'm gonna look at what I've created most recently, and there's our quiz we just created. I need to double click on that quiz. So again, I'm gonna back up. We were in Google Classroom. We went to Google Drive. We went into Google Drive. We went to Recent, and we clicked on our quiz that we created. Okay. So here is our quiz that we created in Google Forms. So the student would need to have taken this quiz, and they would have needed to enter their email address. So now you have different ways you can see the results. If you go to responses, you can see the responses as a whole, as a class. You can see which questions the class got right, which questions they missed. This is really nice for getting like whole group data to inform your instruction. If you want to see the individual scores of each student, you're going to click on this green Create Spreadsheet button right here. So if I click on this button and I hit Create, it's going to create a spreadsheet with all the quiz grades. So give it a second to load. I know it just opened up another tab and that's a little intimidating, but if you look up here, everything is still here. We have our Google Classroom, our Google Drive, our quiz, and now our spreadsheet. And if you look on the spreadsheet, you can see what time the student took the test. The student's email address will let you know which student it was, and then it'll tell you the score. So I can see the score and I can see what they put for each question. So our student got 100 out of 100. So now I know that student got 100 points. I'm gonna go back to Google Classroom and I'm gonna insert 100 points for that student because that's what they received. So now I'm ready to return the grade to the student. I'm gonna hit return and return. I know that was a lot more difficult than the other two assignments we created, but that's the only way I've found to grade quizzes in Google Classroom if you're using your own personal Gmail account. I've heard that the grades do sync if you're using the G Suite for Education system, but they don't sync automatically when you're just using your personal Gmail. All right, so we finished grading all of our assignments. So now if I go to the student view and I go to classwork, everything says graded. And if the student wants to view their grade, they just need to view the assignment and it shows them the grade and it shows them your comments. So this is a basic way of how you would grade assignments in Google Classroom.